Right, now back to video number 5, and this is where things start to get interesting, because this is where we will start to move your mouse around, which is a big thing which is needed for botting in RuneScape. Now there is one simple procedure which is used a lot for this, and that is simply mouse. And with mouse, if you open the bracket, you'll see that it takes an X coordinate, a Y coordinate, a random X coordinate, a random Y coordinate, and a button, which is a variant. Now, X coordinate will be where you want it to click. The X and Y coordinate will be where you want it to click. So, say like we wanted it to click right here. We can get a position using the color picker, which is right here. And what that will do is that will give us coordinates and a color. And colors will be used later on. So just close that for now, and it also prints it out to the DL box at the very bottom. So just take that coordinate and put it up here. You also have an X random and a Y random, and what the X random is it's a number between 0 and the number that you put in. It will generate a random number between 0 and the number you put in, and it will randomly generate one, and it will add it to the X coordinate. So say like we had 10, it will generate a number randomly between 0 and 9 and add it to 794. So it might generate 5, in which case it will then click at 799, because it will have generated 5 and added it to that, which will create 799. And then there's the same for the Y coordinate. And then you got another one, which is whether you want it to right click or left click. If you want it to left click, put true, or if you want it to right click, put false. So just simply do that, and then when you press play, it will move over. Oops. Now if you don't want it to use smart, simply comment smart out by putting 2 double slashes. I'll explain more about comments in a little while. Just press play, and as you can see, it will move the mouse over and then right click. You can change that to true, and it will move the mouse over and it will click with the left button, which is extremely useful if you want to right click on an item and get to the menu, or if you want to left click on the item and do the first action. Now, as before, you can also use it with variables, and most people call it X and Y, simply for X coordinate and Y coordinates, and these are integers because the parameters takes an integer. And later on in the script, you can find colors, and you can set the coordinate of the location of that color in the X and Y, which you can then use in here. So we've got a bit of code here which will find a color and set the location to X and Y. So the X coordinate will be in the variable X, and the Y coordinate will be in the variable Y. And the mouse will move over to that coordinate, and it will click on it with a randomness of 10. So it could click here. So say like the colour was found here, it could click here, or it might click there, or there, or there. Because we've got a randomness of 10, it will click around this area. Obviously, if we were to set that to something like 100, it'll end up clicking in something around this area, which for items in RuneScape is quite large. So you don't want it too high. Now quickly about comments, which I will explain to you now. Comments are completely ignored by the compiler. So if you were to put 2 slashes before it, it will turn blue. And what this means is that it is ignored by the compiler. So when the script is compiled and turned into a code which you can understand, it will skip it and completely ignore it. And there is another, if you put double slashes, it will comment out the rest of the line. Now if you have a big bunch of code which you want to get rid of, and you don't want to put double slashes onto every single line because that will take a long time, what you can do is you can use an open curly brace, and so you can have some code and some functions, and then in order to close the comment, put a close curly brace. And so these lines here will be completely ignored by the pre-compiler. So you've got this line ignored, these lines ignored, and this line ignored, because they are comments. Now you can also put it to the end of lines, which also allows you to comment on what that line specifically does. So for this one you can say that it sets up the variables. Now set up a SRL is, as you probably have guessed, quite important, so make sure you use that one. But anyway, back to comments. Comments are quite important because it allows other people to actually see what your code does. It also allows you to quickly comment stuff, code out that you don't actually want to use anymore, or if it's causing problems. I can't really think of anything else to say right now. Oh wait, yes, we've also got back to the mouse. We've got other functions as well. We have mouse box, which will take two coordinates. The first coordinate will be the top left of the box, and the second coordinate will be the bottom right of the box. And mousebox will click somewhere randomly inside that box. So let's say you've got, let's open up Paint just for a bit of illustration. Here you go. Say like you've got a box and you got that. This would be the first coordinate up here. Make it a bit larger so you can see it easily. Right, so you've got the first coordinate, which will be here, and you've got the second coordinate, which will be down here. And what mousebox does is it will click somewhere inside this box. So it might click here, or it might click there, or there, or there, or there, or there, or there. Or it'll click somewhere in the box. So what you need to do is you need to put the top left corner, and then you need to put the bottom left corner, and then you need to put what click type it is. So you've got 1, which will be a left click, you got 2, which will be a right click, or you got 3, which will be a middle click, so like a scroll wheel click. And by using that, you can get it somewhere in the box. So if you know the top left corner and bottom right corner of the box that you want to click in, you can use mouse box. But if you don't, and you just want to add a little bit of randomness to where the colour is found, then use mouse. Can't think of anything else to say in this tutorial, so I'm going to wrap it up here, and well, watch out for my next video.